Good evening, folks. It is Matt Rogers. It is now the 26th of January 2025. Now on this broadcast, I'd like to show you some very important space captures. Deep in space, we're seeing objects of interest, planets, stars, asteroids, other strange phenomena moving across space. But indeed as well, I was going to go out tonight on the 26th, but indeed it is very cloudy. But I picked up some very important, very interesting captures on the 25th between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning. So please look closely at these pictures, and to all of you, thank you for subscribing. And again, please have a very interesting week ahead. Okay, now indeed this was taken around 13 minutes past 9 of yesterday's skies on the 25th. Pointing north, very close by zooming in towards the asteroid belt. Look at the capture very closely, folks, by using a brand new lens that indeed was purchased last week, and indeed it picks up more of a clarity of these space rocks. You notice in the background of the photograph as well that there is other formations of space rocks. A genuine picture. Now, the object of interest in the foreground that you can see clearly on the screen shows very interesting captures. Again, you can see the clarity of the photograph. It is indeed in detail of showing you the space anomaly formation. Folks, again, if you think about it, if you saw this object moving past your window, what would you think? It is out there, folks. It is very interesting to see the observations of this huge body. The characteristics, it looks like a mountain-sized object. It could be indeed about 4 to 5 miles in length. The dark anomaly formations to the lower half of the huge space rock, they look like mountains or volcanoes, some kind of anomaly that's broken away from a planet-sized object. Just a very interesting capture. Let me just zoom back for you as well to see the capture of interest. I was absolutely blown away when I saw this object. These lenses that you can pick up now from telescope shops, and again, they are indeed incredible. This cost £200 to be able to pick up this image of interest for the community on this channel. Now this picture blew me away, folks, because we all speak about Planet X, the crossing, Nibiru, Wormwoods, the Frightener, and indeed by looking at the clarification of this photograph, I was absolutely shocked. It was taken around about 12 at midnight, pointing north. I could see some kind of haze in space, where you can see the characteristics of the photograph of this haze. You see the lighter area of the photograph to the upper area. Notice stars in the background. But indeed we can see planets to either side and to the upper and lower half of the photography, and a huge celestial body to the center of where we see this crossing. This is a very interesting dynamic photograph. It is genuine, it is real, and it is out there as well. Now, the observational interest about the characteristics of this photograph is indeed that this object is way out there, folks, further reaches of the asteroid belts. I'm going to keep an eye on this particular evidence as well, because I'm going to see the observations of noticing if it's moving towards us, towards the asteroid belt. If it moves through the asteroid belt, then again, it needs to be said and spoken about. Now, noticing as well of clarifying and also zooming in to the particular picture, we notice that this object, this celestial body, is showing to be greater in size. Now we're picking up as well, if you clearly notice the color and the formations of these objects of interest. The size and dimension of this celestial body is huge, folks. it isn't the size where we see the characteristics of the smaller planets. To the left and the right hand side, these planets look indeed like our solar system planets, like Jupiter. But Jupiter is the largest celestial body in our solar system, but this object looks indeed like 7 times the size of Jupiter. Indeed, it looks like iron oxide to the planet. Again, it could be just another selection of rogue planets, mysterious planets that are coming closer to our solar system. It looks like a mini solar system, noticeable indeed into seeing these objects. Very interesting capture. So I thought it's best as well to show it to the community, to seeing the evidence that is being picked up. I mean, folks, please leave a message below the video what you think this is, because we all want to know of what is being sighted. Let me just zoom out for you as well so you can see the whole picture of interest. I mean, this is another photograph again that was taken just last night, between last night and the early hours of the morning. I'm going to come back to this picture as well, because what I'm going to do is when I get a chance of a clear night, I will observe the heavens to see where this is located again. Yet another photograph just by observing the heavens towards northeast. Now this was around about 1 AM, and pointing that telescope closely to the solar system, I picked up some kind of haze, like a dull star. We've done this before many a times. I even saw the clarification and colours of a red refraction of light to the right side of the star. But by observing by zooming in the telescope, magnified to seeing this haze, and also this strange shape that you see to the upper right hand side of the photograph. What could this be? This curl or some kind of formation, obviously in space debris and space dust. Even towards the lower half of the photograph, we could see a star or some kind of strange orb or even a planet in the solar system. Now, when I say in the solar system, this object, indeed by the calculations with the telescope, it showed up as well that it is indeed in the solar system. I mean, what kind of formation are we witnessing here towards this photograph? Let me just show you the whole picture as well. Deep space, again in the solar system, the characteristics of a strange anomaly formation. Just something else to think about. Now if you think about it, we've been speaking about exoplanets in deep space, and there's been a lot of evidence as well through the scientific community. They are speaking about it more often now than any other year before, picking up observations and also explaining about there is even more and more exoplanets out there, rogue planets. But some of these planets that we see and observe as well have a host star. They are orbiting these planets and orbiting these stars, suns, their own suns. But again, deep space photographs past the asteroid belt, like you see on the picture, you notice they are genuine because you see the light refraction from a moon or a smaller object, a smaller planet, different colour. But like I explained as well, that we're seeing a lot of red through space now. Why is this happening? I mean, you can see again a noticeable showing up the planets, smaller object like stars in the background. What I've done is, folks, I've lit up the photograph so we can see it much more clearly, and also seeing the observations. By enhancing the photograph or even showing it up, the original picture is very, very dark. But then lighting up the photograph, we can see clearly that there is other heavenly bodies and planets and star systems. See, the worrying thing is as well, folks, when thinking about it, when we talk about Nibiru, Planet X, and we know the red dragon that is moving through space on this 3,600 odd year orbit, it is bringing a lot of trash, space debris, iron oxide, huge amounts of iron oxide spread through space. Now we know what iron oxide does to our world. It isn't very good, folks, but again, by looking very closely at the image, noticing these planets out there to the further reaches of our solar system, and noticing again the red refraction of light. Again, by looking through telescopes deep in space for a good number of years now, I can tell you now that this red colour is becoming much stronger and stronger in the colours of iron oxide. Let me just zoom in to be able to show you these other smaller bodies in the solar system and the larger body as well. Could we be seeing Nibiru? Or could we be seeing an exoplanet, a rogue planet? Something's going on, because the red colour is becoming more interesting and more stronger as we continue the research. Okay folks, I want to show you a picture that was taken last year, around about March the 25th. Now, again, going out at night time and being able to pick up captures, and I always did this anyway, but it was a very worrying photograph, because indeed what we see is a size of a planet and a formation of a huge celestial body. There's smaller objects as well in the background, some kind of asteroid or something else, darkness of space. But what got me really worried as well by seeing these objects, there was a huge object in the background. Again, it could have been a camera refraction, but something interesting showed up in the background. I'm going to show you this. There's only a part of this, because what we're noticing as we move the picture and shows clearly of a shot again of a huge object. But look in the background. Can you see the curvature, the celestial mechanics, just down towards this area as well, and to the upper area of the photograph, across deep in space, we can see indeed the characteristics of another large celestial body in the background. Now the telescope again was pointing towards the heavens, but indeed by collecting the different pieces of images to calculate something else huge in our solar system, I mean, you can see the curvature of another yet unknown object. Known object in our solar system, but this dark object to the further reaches of our solar system is indeed unknown. Or is it? Do they know the establishment that this object deep in space to the further reaches of our solar system that could be tugging on the orbits of Neptune and Uranus deep in space? Smaller objects, indeed, that they speak about, like Pluto, it couldn't be doing that to the orbits of Neptune and Uranus, because Neptune and Uranus are massive objects, space bodies. See, again, reaching out to those areas of interest of our outer solar system and noticing other huge objects in space. But that got me really worried. Again, it could be a camera refraction, but something else. You can see the celestial mechanics, because you can see the darkness of space to this area, and going down you can see the characteristics of a huge curvature of something big deep in space. Sometimes using different lenses, folks, will manipulate the photograph. And again, with the new lens, I'm going to make sure, I wanted to go back, and I've been going back many times to this area of the solar system to be able to pick up the celestial body. It's been very, very hard because of the weather and also the clarity of different lenses. Again, it's very hard to detect, but something deep in space, something large is lurking out there towards the other side of the asteroid belt. Just another very interesting capture. Thank you for, again, listening to this video. Another deep space photograph was taken around about 3 a.m, just after 3 a.m. of this morning's skies on the 26th of January 2025, pointing towards a direction north. And indeed as well, by talking about the iron oxide, it's incredible, folks, because even the blackness of space is starting to change towards this red colour, filtering through our solar system. Now, again, the photograph was taken, and indeed the planets that you've been seeing on these other similar pictures are zoomed in to these areas. Something again that is moving through space. Let me just show you this big space body object with these other smaller objects of interest. I mean, again, when you look at this object, you can see the characteristics of this dust, ash, iron oxide spreading behind it. Is it something that's moving of a heavenly body through space? The red dragon? Just very interesting captures. I'm not able to zoom in with this photograph. It was taken very suddenly as well with the camera, and it just couldn't zoom in. So this is how it is with this photograph, I'm afraid. But again, it's very, very interesting of seeing these anomaly formations or huge rogue planets, or even part of the system, the Planet X system. Or it could just be normal, a normal system in our solar system. Very important captures, folks. This is what we need to see. And I will keep going. I will keep showing by using the telescope, by pointing to different objects and celestial bodies. These brand new space captures were taken again early hours of the morning, around about 2:30, pointing south. Now again, very, very important captures. Something celestial. There's about 1 to 2 to 3, and even to the top right hand corner there is another object, celestial. We see stars in the background and the foreground. But this is a very interesting, important picture, because indeed this could be another system to the further reaches of our solar system. You notice two large bodies, one lower object as well, and also a smaller object, or it could be a star. We notice again this could be a sun, but again what we're seeing here is a larger space body, and indeed there is other bodies. Let me just zoom in again to the photograph that was just taken a short time ago, early hours of the morning. Folks, notice the area view sides. Now when we see the strange occurrence of these patterns to the inner area where we see the planet, this is what the lens does, folks, because something that is far away will cause some kind of pattern to make it look even more interesting. Folks, it's just the lens, because the object is so far away in the solar system, it will cause that change. But indeed you can see the celestial mechanic of the size of the object as well, and indeed there is a smaller object in front of it. We could now be seeing this planet-size object with a smaller moon that is in orbit with the object, like we see of the Earth. But this object is roughly about 15 to 16 times bigger than the Earth, folks. Again, that object, that moon-sized object, being so far away using the telescope, could be the size of where we see Mother Earth in our solar system, our world. I'm just going to move to this area as well to pick up the other smaller objects, celestial bodies. We see stars. Noticeable, I explained about being a sun. Now the reason why I said that is because when we're seeing through the telescope it was very bright, like a star. So what I've done is I've darkened the photograph gradually to be able to pick up it very more importantly with a clarity we're seeing these objects of interest. This object, again, you can see that strange pattern, but that is just the camera, folks, because the formation, the celestial body, is so far away. We're talking about maybe 5 to 600 billion kilometers away. The smaller object is very important as well to see the information with this video. Let me just show you by clearly seeing the view sides of space. This is incredible, because indeed that did look like a sun, a star so bright, and then we see the characteristics of these huge planets, just like on this particular picture. All I'm doing now, folks, is just showing you what is being sighted, and it's unbelievable, babies. So clear to what we see now of what we've seen before, because when you look back at parts of video evidence, it is so incredible, because many years ago when we were doing video work in 2016, we noticed as well that the objects that we're seeing now were so small, like a star about this size in the solar system. But look now, folks, look at the incredible capture of what we're noticing, an unknown object in our solar system. They are talking about rogue planets now, a lot more. Other people have mentioned this on the message board as well, down below the video, on different videos. I've looked it up as well. It is incredible, because if you look at it now, the scientific community won't stop talking about it, because they are now seeing sightings of these rogue planets, planets of interest. Something again, moving through space. Rogue planets do not have a host star. But this picture, it looks to me that these objects do have a host star in our solar system. Another very important capture. Here is another still shot photograph. I can't, for some apparent reason, zoom in and zoom out to some of the photographs that were taken with the telescope, but you can see clearly it is indeed deep space, and picking up this very important capture, the observations of 3 celestial bodies or smaller objects surrounding the objects. Now, I know the photograph is very blurred out, but the further we go, folks, the more blurred out the photography will become. But again, you can see the characteristics and also the formations of other celestial bodies. This huge dark brown object, a brown dwarf star, or some kind of huge planet just roaming around space. I mean, the smaller bodies are very interesting as well. You can see the colour and formation towards this area where we see this huge dark planet. Just another very interesting photograph of deep space. Have they named these objects? Can they see these objects? They must do now with the telescopes that they use across the world. Just another very interesting picture of something deep in space. Okay folks, so thank you for watching this very short broadcast. I'm going to collect more photography. Please look out for these videos because they're very important, because as long as the skies are very clear at night, I will challenge the skies. I will zoom out as far as I can and also make sure the pictures are as close as crystal, very clear pictures to show the community of what is being sounded all the way up there in the heavens. Something of importance, something of a huge difference to see those strange celestial bodies. Thank you for watching. From your host, Matt Rogers.